All right, who's ready for the Dirt Life Show?
Woo, woo. Man, today is a good day. We are all alive, and we're having a good Monday. It's a good day to think about some tacos because tomorrow's Tuesday. So I'm Georgie Hamill, and in the studio we got my co-host extraordinaire, Casey Peck.
What's up?
How's everything going today, dude?
Good. It's been a good Monday.
Heck yeah, I agree with that one for sure. It's a little hot in Arizona, but man, I went out on a bike ride and I still had just a great day, man. So
The heat happened like that. Isn't that crazy?
it really was.
Like
It was like turning on an oven,
and then boom.
yeah, and then it was just like scorching heat.
Right.
Well, welcome everybody to the Dirt Life Show. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. We are on episode 36 now. Man,
I think so.
we've been going and going and going, right? Our featured guest tonight is Sara Price. She has an amazing story, man. I think one of the things to take away from her story is just that she's a hard worker. She does so many things and so many things well that it's just really impressive to talk to her and get inspiration from the things that she does. So we can't wait to have her on. We're going to have her on a little bit later, maybe around 6:45 or so. But we got a couple things to talk about today. First thing we want to do is we want to thank everybody for joining in. Eric Lumball, Spokane. Awesome. What's going on, dude? We got a couple other people making comments. I really want to thank everybody for joining us, man. We've had such a great growing experience. It's only been 8 months for the Dirt Life Show. And it kind of seems like a long time when you talk about 36 episodes, right? But it's such a short time still. And it really means a lot to me to be able to see that so many people are digging it. Like, I can't get it through my thick head, like how cool it is to have everybody join us. So
I remember being stoked for 19 because that's your number.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a long time ago.
It really is, man. And so we have guests lined up for a long time too. We're filled up until July now.
Awesome.
Yeah. So once July kicks in, we're going to have to get a whole bunch of new people. But it's really, really cool to see how everybody's liking it and people want to come on the show and just have a good time chatting with us. I mean, all we're doing is talking garage talk and talking about the subjects that are happening in our lives right now, right?
Right.
So we have a few topics that I wanted to talk about today. Hopefully you're on board with them. One of them was the stuff that happened with BJ Baldwin this week.
Yeah, crazy.
It was so crazy. So we'll get into that. A more positive note, I wanted to talk about some of the stuff that I went through last year and now don't have to go through this year, but it's been like a mental roller coaster for me. So I kind of want to get your opinion and see what you think about it.
Yep, absolutely.
But let's thank our sponsors first. We want to thank everybody. Solderweld just gave us a new discount code, and thank you very much to Hunter for chiming in and letting me know, reminded me. He sent me a message. He goes, I want to get one of those off-road repair kits. And he said, how do you do it? And I said, well, you go to the website. And then it triggered in my mind like, oh, shoot, we need to give our audience a discount code. So I text messaged Lance over there at Solderweld, and he's hooking everybody up. So you can go to solderweld.com, use the code DIRTLIFE, and save yourself some money. Get the off-road repair kit, or they also have their, I don't know what you want to call it, like a trophy truck repair kit. It comes with in a little canister. But they would be good on a side-by-side, too, because you could just put it in one of like a shock mount, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So they would be super cool to run there, too. So thank you very much to Solderweld for offering that to our audience. Go ahead and go check them out, solderweld.com. Use the code DIRTLIFE. Thank you very much to the guys at Shock Therapy. They've been helping us. I got my Shock Therapy shirt on today. They've been helping us a lot. We just created a video for them, or we're working on it now. We're going to go to the Cinders this weekend and finish it up with our buddy Jeff Angel. He got the first IQS, which is called Internal Quick Switch. It's kind of like a tongue twister. But
That's the electronic deal that he's doing?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. So the shocks have like a little piece that you put on a reservoir. It's some sort of electrical piece, but you have a switch that you can put anywhere in your car, and it's soft, medium, and firm settings. So you click that, and it changes the way that the shocks compression works.
That's pretty awesome.
It is. It's pretty trick. And when we went and looked at it, dude, they got it done in a day. I went up to Phoenix to film the dropping off the car and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, cool. It's going to take them a few days or whatever. And so I spent the night with Jeff that night, dropped off the car, and then I came home. We had tacos. And I came home, and I'm like, okay, cool. It'll be a couple days. They called me later that day. They're like, you got to come back tomorrow.
We're done. Awesome.
So good on those shock therapy guys for getting it done. It was really cool. You can go to the shock therapy website, shocktherapist.com, and use the code DIRTLIFE and save a whole bunch of money there. You can also call them and just use the code DIRTLIFE and tell them that you want to take your car down there, get the ride improvement system. You can get the all-new IQS system on the YXZ, on any of the other popular cars like Polaris and Can-Am as well. Thank you to the guys at Zollinger Racing Products. They make fantastic products. You can use the code DIRTLIFE at ZollingerRacingProducts.com and get some of their awesome machine products. They make some really badass radius rods for the Can-Ams too. Thank you to the guys at Rugged Radios. They were awesome enough to provide us with these 2 radios to give away, the RHSR radios. So we're going to give those away before we go to commercial break today. So that'll be cool. If you entered to win, you got to wait a little bit, maybe a half hour for us to announce the winner. But thank you to those guys. If you don't win or you can't wait, you can always use the code DIRTLIFE to go on the RuggedRadios.com website and save a bunch of money there. I was actually thinking about maybe putting the batteries in these and talking to the neighbors. I thought it would have been pretty fun. One guy actually chimed in. It was pretty cool. He goes, for the giveaway, one of his friends commented and tagged him in it. And he goes, why wouldn't I just call him?
I know. I was just thinking that.
That's no fun. You got to use a walkie-talkie, dude.
COVID radio.
How fun would it be to use the walkie-talkies?
Well, when you were little kids, you tried to do that.
Of course.
But it's funny that why wouldn't you just use the phone? Well, it's not the same.
Yeah, it's not the same at all. And plus, like, I got to use some of these exact radios last Thursday when we were doing another photo shoot with Jeff Angel out in the desert, and it's way more fun when when you hit the button. And
breaker 19.
Yeah, exactly. And you use all the code and like lingo and stuff. It's so much more fun to do it that way. It looks like Eric was wondering what kind of truck that is. It's a Associated truck, Eric. Mm-hmm. It's pretty cool. My buddy Nick Watlett built that for us. It's pretty neat, man. It means a lot to me. I haven't got to drive it yet though. So
it's the Unicorn Junior.
Yeah, Unicorn Mini. Yeah, that thing is pretty cool though. It'll be neat when I get to go drive that thing. Hand-eye coordination to the max, right?
We need side-by-sides so bad in the RC. I don't know why they haven't done some bodies that would do that.
Yeah, that'd be cool if they just came out with those bodies. Mm-hmm. And then we'd also like to thank KMC Wheels. KMC has best wheels in the business. We've got one over there. That's I think it's called the Grenade wheel, but that thing is super trick looking, man, with that center cap. There's been a bunch of people that have been painting the bead locks and the center cap or the center ring the same color.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so and you can paint them different colors and stuff. It's pretty rad. So thank you very much to Ryan Edwards over at KMC for being a partner with the show. We really appreciate all the support that he's given us. And we have a whole bunch of awesome stuff coming up. Yeah. See, that's still my favorite thing, dude.
I love it.
The smell of victory, the candle.
I hope he can hook it up and make it to where there's an extra one that falls out into my Jeep.
Yeah, exactly. Dude,
I need one.
You don't even need to fire this thing up.
You don't.
You could probably just leave this in the Jeep like this.
It is so awesome.
That would be pretty cool, man. All right, so let's get into our topics. So the first thing that I want to talk about today was an unfortunate incident that happened to B.J. Baldwin. I think it was last Monday or something, but it was this week. And unfortunately, and this is from the press release that I read, he was involved in a shooting at In-N-Out Burger in Las Vegas. The first thing that I thought about it was, first of all, it's crazy. The situation is crazy. Anything is crazy, right? Anytime you get into a fight, a shooting, altercation, whatever, right? It's crazy. And you never know what's going to happen. Literally, you never, ever know what's going to happen. And I'm sure people will have opinions about this stuff, and we really, really like to have anybody chime in and let us know what they think about it as well. But so he was there at In-N-Out, and for whatever reason, it was late at night. You know, maybe he was driving back from a sponsor meeting or something. Who knows? But whatever the situation was, he was there late at night. And, nothing good usually ever happens after midnight, right?
Right.
And one of our buddies, Brian, told me that earlier. He's a law enforcement agency. I think he's going to call in a few minutes here, or law enforcement retired, but he's going to call in a little bit here. I don't disagree with that, but I don't think time really matters when stuff like this can happen. It doesn't matter. You can get in road rage and something can happen to you. I was in a situation in Southern California where I was driving a van. Somebody cut me off and they tried to get in the van and hurt me. And luckily I broke both of his arms and got him out of the vehicle. But it was nuts. The situation was crazy, and it got me thinking, well, I need to protect myself more. So I just got a little baton and I kept it in the van. But situations can happen at a moment's notice, right? Like, especially with all the things that are going on in our crazy world right now, right?
Right.
People are on edge, and
yep.
You want to protect your family. I want to protect everybody around me. Like, that's the number one thing that we're here for on the planet Earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, your family. So BJ was obviously in a position that probably wasn't advantageous to him. But that's okay. Fine. He was getting something to eat. And he got walked up on by two people. Who knows what they wanted, but they decided to come up and try to take something from him, whatever it was. Maybe it was his car or whatever it was. And they started shooting. And BJ is a trained armsman, and he knows what he's doing with a weapon. And he was able to stop the perpetrator, is that the right word, from harming him and his girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing that came to mind when I heard it was, holy cow, thank God his kids have their parents to come home. There's so many different things that you think about in a situation like that. Why did he do this? Why didn't he do this? Why did the other people do this? Why didn't they do it?
Yeah, that's real easy to armchair quarterback it, but we're not in the situation. So like you said, we have no clue. But like for me, the first thing, similar to what you do, the first thing I did is I'm thinking about my family as well. Immediately, like that totally could have been a different outcome, and we could be having a conversation right now of, oh man, the racing community lost one of the best. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we're not having that conversation.
Or the racing community's wife or
yeah,
his
right,
girlfriend.
exactly.
Girlfriend is now gone.
Right, and it's not to take anything away from anybody else's family, but man, I mean, he protected himself. We don't know all the details, and
we never will.
We probably never will, like you say. But it sure seems like he's not communicating, but well, definitely communicating, but also working with the police and whatever they need. It doesn't look like there's any funny business, but we don't know that right off the bat. All I'm getting at is that, again, it could have been a whole family missing dad, and maybe again on the other side it is that, but crazy. It just hit me as a dad, as a father, as a husband, like,
or just
wow.
as a strong moral individual. You know what I mean? Like, I would never ever. Doesn't matter who's around me. Best friends, anybody, if a situation comes up like that, and like I said, you never know when a situation like that's going to happen.
Right.
I mean, I saw a lady spraying herself down with Lysol at the grocery store. People do stuff that's not the same as what you do. Right?
Sure.
So who knows when stuff like that is going to happen? And I think it is so good that people can protect themselves.
Agreed.
I've always had, since I broke my back and I was very slow to walk or in a wheelchair, I've always had in the back of my mind, like, I can't run from a situation.
Sure.
So if somebody's chasing after me, I'm toast.
Right.
So I need to learn how to protect myself. So I took, concealed weapons classes and armed training classes and things like that. So I'm able to do that, and I'm able to do it well.
Right.
Maybe not BJ Baldwin level, but if something comes up, I have faith that I can protect myself or somebody around me. Mm-hmm. And I would hope that other people do that too. I don't want anybody to be a gun-toting wild man.
Right. Well, when you take those classes, my wife and I did the same. We don't have to in Arizona, but it makes sense because people are more comfortable if they know that you did that. Like,
exactly.
That's what it seems like to me. But regardless, you learn a lot about it. And
well, to get your driver's license, you have to take a course, right? And you have to pass it.
Right. But with that, it's the person that did our training. It was pretty eye opening to all of a sudden look at every option that you have, so you're not having to do that. You know what I mean? Like, nobody wants to have to do that. you don't want to have to do
Ever.
that. But all of a sudden he had to, and he did what
protected his family.
He was trained to do.
Protected his family.
Yep.
100%. Oh, what's up, Dino Jet Matt? How are you doing, bud? It's good to see you on here. And then Yvette Sally, hi, guys. Yeah, it is scary times a little bit, but I also think that there's positive times. So we're going to get into a positive story after this. Parker, what's up, dude? Who else we got? Jason, what's going on, man? Dirtheads, how's it going, boys?
I've got Travis, Corey, and Rory. Mikey saying hi. How's it going, guys? Yeah, we're just kind of at a loss for words with that. I mean, again, there's so many things you could say either way. We saw his video, right?
Yeah, I was going to say let's fall back on that. So we watched an Instagram story that BJ put out, and it was yesterday. So you have to hurry up if you want to watch this. Go to BJ Baldwin's Instagram story. It's pretty eye-opening to understand the mentality of what happened, right?
Right.
What did you think when you watched it? Maybe you can explain what he said.
It's pretty. It kind of put me in a little different spot too, because again, we don't know all the details, but if I'm kind of putting myself in the situation, I can't imagine what happened in the split second. And they were obviously their life was in danger, obviously, and he's going to the other side saying, I don't know what was going on. I respect the guy and his family for the decisions he made. But the best thing I heard was he said, whatever the guy's name was doing whatever he thought was right. And he says, I don't have any hatred for the guy. I have more love for my family than I do for the situation.
Right. Exactly.
And I was like, wow, that's a total different way to look at it. So he's 100% making sure that it's coming out of his mouth that he doesn't have any ill will towards the person, his family, etc. He just was put in a spot that his instincts kicked in, and the love of his family said, I got to protect him.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like that's such a valuable thing to understand.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no matter what happens. So just hearing those words come out of his mouth makes me think that the first thing that he thought of wasn't to do something violent like that. It was, what can I do to not have to do this before I have to do it?
Right.
So what can I do? If I could say something right now, I would, but I can't.
Right.
Because I have to do something different.
Sure.
But if I could have protected him with my verbally, then I would have done that.
Right.
Because that's where my heart is.
Sure.
But unfortunately, he wasn't able to do that. So,
yeah, if you guys haven't seen it, try to go find it before it's gone, like you said.
It's only going to last a little bit more on Instagram, so go check it out. It's pretty crazy to understand that people can be put in a situation like that, but it's also very, very valuable for people to understand, to be able to know that there's solid human beings out there, and they really, really do have good intent. So thank you to BJ for releasing that, because it makes it so that people don't speculate. People can understand a human response to a bad situation, right?
And it's pretty personal what he's doing. It's not, you can tell there's plenty of emotion there.
Right. And in the video, he was sitting next to his son, which is very, very meaningful.
Definitely.
Because what if he wasn't?
Right.
So it's pretty cool. And I respect that he was so respectful of the situation.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was taking from it was, again, imagine how you would feel, post dramatic situation like that. And the first thing he's doing is making sure that he's giving respect to, the other party involved in that. And that says a lot.
And the other individual.
It
Absolutely.
really does. Says a lot.
It means a lot to the whole world that he can do that, because in a time like this, during all these crazy times, like, there's no understanding of what can happen, Brian told me today, the retired law enforcement agent that's going to call in a little bit, we'll ask him, but he told me today that he had still that people are on the force right now, that he had seen that well, here he is right now. We'll talk to him and we'll ask him about it.
How's it going, Nick? We love you too, buddy.
Ryan, what's up, dude? How are you?
It's been a crazy day, bro.
Yeah, super crazy. Well, hey, we were just talking about, thanks for calling in, and we were just talking about all the stuff that happened with BJ, and I was going to bring up the point that you made to me earlier when we were messaging, that some of your well, some people that you know that are still on the force have been taking bullets, I guess, this week, huh?
Yeah, the three of my guys that I used to work with, one guy was the night shift guy that relieved me every night that I would literally change my less lethal weapon with. And the other two I knew, but I don't know that great. But like one of the officers, I was beat partners with his wife. So I was there for 13 years, so I know them all pretty well.
And it was on the Phoenix department?
No, it was Chandler PD.
Oh, Chandler PD. Yeah, it's crazy to me to think like how situations can come up so quickly. Like you never ever know what you're going to face. I mean, like who would think that going to getting a hamburger in BJ Baldwin's case is going to lead to something like what happened to him? I mean, do you have any advice to understand that a little bit more for just, regular citizens?
Well, are you referring specifically to BJ's case or just in general?
I think in general, mostly. I mean, we all understand that BJ, what he did, and he explained everything to us. But I think basically the world is going like in a crazy spot now, right? And I want to make sure that all of our listeners and everybody around us is as safe as possible.
Well, my advice is if you're trying to protect you and your family, if you're into firearms, like that's fine and dandy here in Arizona. As long as you're not selling, anybody can go buy a pistol and carry it concealed on their body.
Right.
And I'm completely for that because I believe everybody should be able to defend themselves.
Yeah, I agree.
So here's my advice, though, is if you're going to have a firearm, not only do you need to train with that and become proficient with that firearm, you also need to mentally prepare for anything you might come across.
Totally.
That's a really good point.
I'll tell you right now, I know officers that were trained to be in these situations that got in shooting. And I can use one example of a guy that one of my best friends to this day. He got into shooting. He unloaded all of his rounds in his magazine, which we have 20 in our gun, or 18. I'm brain farting right now. But anyway, he fired all 18 rounds. He hit the bad guy one time.
Wow.
And he hit him in the arm. And this guy was a perfect shooter every year.
Right, training every year and ready to go. And like you say, in that situation,
So BJ's specific instance, BJ was able to, like, if it wasn't for BJ's training and all he does, for BJ to not only be shot at, but to return accurate rounds is not easy. For us in the military, that's why they give us fully automatic weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes a huge difference. I definitely agree with that. Like, it makes me feel like a novice. I feel like I've taken courses and I can hit a target just fine, but that makes me feel like, well, let me step back here real quick. So if I'm just thinking about me selfishly, maybe I'm not giving myself enough credit. Maybe my racing training has given me the understanding and the adrenaline that my body gets to be able to control those emotions, but I still don't know how I would act in a situation like that until it would happen.
I think you'd probably agree. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but I'll tell you right now that this is where your training has everything to do with how you perform.
Right.
If you have trained for a situation where you might have to use that kind of force, not only do you train and get fire thousands of rounds through that gun to the point where you can draw your weapon and put your eyes down those freaking sights and accurately shoot. Like, you have to do that repetitively. You can't just go shoot once every couple months and have that level of proficiency. This is something you have to train for. And then to add another human being trying to take your life is a whole nother level. Like until you're in that situation, you can't there's no training that's going to prepare you for freaking rounds buzzing by you.
Yeah. I can imagine. And to your point, I think that, that training is so important to where it becomes muscle memory, and you guys do that professionally. And like you said, here's a professional that in the situation kind of freaks out. So I think what you're getting at is it goes to a lot of. I mean, it speaks highly of how trained he was and what he does.
Well, and also all the law enforcement that's out there. You know what I mean? Like, everybody gives cops a bad rap, right? But that doesn't mean that they're bad. Like, what Brian is saying, like, the things that he's gone through in the military and obviously in law enforcement, you can't, a normal civilian that hasn't had the training can't go up against one of those guys ever.
Yeah, I would agree. You're right.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you're already at a disadvantage, especially if you're reacting to what he's doing.
Right.
You have to mentally prepare yourself to be ready for whatever he does.
That's just nuts, man. And I don't ever want to put myself in a position like that, but to think about how lucky it is that BJ's with his family now is mind blowing. Hearing what you're saying, Brian.
Yeah, I feel for BJ. Hearing his Instagram story, I can almost hear the pain in his voice, to the point I actually did reach out to him. I know I'm not going to hear back from the guy. He's got tons of friends, but I know what it's like to take another human being's life, and even if it's justified, it's just weird.
Yeah,
it's not the same.
You and I have talked over the last couple of years about some of these mental challenges that both of us have faced, and it's really, really crazy. Like, and I obviously can't speak to yours, and you can't speak to mine, but it's crazy how much mental strength you have to come out of those things.
Well, let me tell you a little bit about mental strength. Back when I was in Iraq, near Fallujah, Iraq, attached to EOD, going to finding these roadside bombs, at 22 years old, I had already accepted I was dead. And once I had accepted that I was dead, it made everything that much easier.
That's a pretty hard thing to say, too, man. That's crazy.
It's the truth, though. And when my buddy got in his shooting with Chandler, he was really struggling with the fact that he's a good shooter, and he didn't shoot accurately when somebody was shooting back. I had to explain to him several times that when people are shooting back at you, it's not the same.
Right.
This isn't a paper target out in front of you. This is another human being trying to take your life.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, how do you stay calm in that you can't?
That's where, like I said, back in my Marine Corps days, when I had accepted I was already dead, when bullets are flying by, it made it a lot easier to look down my sights and return accurate fire.
That's nuts, man.
Bullets be bouncing around you, and you're just doing what you got to do.
Well, first things first, we're going to move on to our next subject. First things first, I want to thank you very, very much for everything that you've done for us, man, for going over there and handling all your military duties, and then obviously coming back and being a solid person and helping with law enforcement and stuff. So it's really, really cool to talk to you.
Yeah, no problem, man. And I'm very good with dealing with people with PTSD because I have it. And if there's anybody out there, law enforcement, military related, please find a way to reach out to me. Like George, I'm sure you can tell him how to do that. But
yep.
I chose to be a cop and a Marine because I wanted to help people and I wanted to help this country, and that does not end.
Yeah, exactly. And you'll always be there for people. You've been there for me a bunch too. If anybody wants to reach out, you can direct message. Would you like me to give them your Instagram, Brian, or would you like to keep that private?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
You can reach out to him at bhawk568 on Instagram and talk to him as well. He's a very, very solid guy, and the brain power that he has and the capacity that he has to respect people is phenomenal. So if you do need any help from any of that stuff, and even if it's not something that's shooting or law enforcement related, even if you're having an issue with going to the grocery store, like I mentioned before, or you're scared because of the virus that's happening now, reach out to somebody. Maybe it's not Brian, maybe it's not us. Reach out to your family. Just, make sure that you're taking care of yourself, because that's the first mental thing that you got to get through is yourself.
Thanks for putting yourself out there, Brian. That's awesome.
That's the first part of the problem, is acknowledging that you have a problem.
100%, man. Well, like Casey said, thanks so much, Brian. I really appreciate you helping us.
No problem. God bless you guys. Have a good day.
Same to you.
We'll see you this weekend, hopefully.
Yeah, buddy.
Thanks,
Bye.
dude. Later.
Cheers.
Wow, that's really, really cool to see that. A couple comments coming in, but let me just say, Jason Stilgebauer, I don't know how to pronounce your name, but what happened? Just, go maybe research BJ Baldwin press release or something like that on, and, read some of the stuff that Baldwin Motorsports put out. You can find it. The stuff that we talked about tonight is just our opinion. We have absolutely no facts other than what we read. So make sure that you reach out and talk to them if you're personally related to them. What other comments do we have come in?
I think it's Bobo Yeoman. Said it takes a big man to give respect back to the person that tried to kill you. Yeah, that's the way I took from it, or what I took from it right away, because I can't imagine where you're at, and his default is to say, hey, respect. That's agreed. It says a lot.
Yeah, it really does. And I strongly recommend that everybody that has a chance go and look at BJ Baldwin's Instagram story before you go to bed tonight and check it out, because it's pretty good. Right. Travis Bryan said, hey, guys. And then Randy Sharp also said, I just like everybody has a plan.
Just like everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. Right. And then all of a sudden everything changes. Like he's making that parallel to the rounds coming back at you, a live, human
exactly
shooting at you. That's what I can't even imagine.
And thank you, Randy, very much for that, because that's a perfect transition into our next subject. So first of all, anybody that needs any help or wants anything, feel free to reach out to any of us, and feel free to reach out to Brian as he mentioned. We're always happy to help. And the transition into what we were going to talk about next was a little bit more positive. Like you never know until you get punched in the face, just like Randy said, right? So I got punched in the face with a race car last year. And
you did.
So April is.
Am I allowed to laugh at that? I'm sorry.
You're allowed to laugh because I'm sitting here talking, right? Is that no, it's okay. I actually like that because it puts me in the laughter actually makes me happy that I'm sitting here. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So it really does.
No doubt.
But it is kind of like it's a mind F, like
right.
Like Brian was saying when we were talking to him. I've never been in a situation like going to war or anything, right? But sure. I've had to deal with all these issues in my own life, and last year I almost lost that life. So Facebook and my iPhone are very, very constant reminders of, hey, look at what you did.
Sometimes that's not so great, huh?
Right. But I think the dose of reality is a good, a gut check or a reality check, because it goes to show two things. First, that the times that we're living in right now are bad, but they could be worse, right? We could have worse things happening. We could have been in a situation like we've been talking about for the past 20 minutes. We could have been in a situation like I was last year. And so that's motivating, right? Because that puts you in a position, oh, thank you. Thank you very much for giving me this life. And then secondary to that, it's motivating to me because I just rode my bicycle the other day, and I was like going through the hills, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is freaking awesome. I'm boiling hot and I feel like I'm going to pass out, but I'm not in the hospital bed waiting on surgery like I was last year.
Yeah, like what popped up from I saw something too, and it's a gut check for me too, and it's all this stuff is a great reminder that tomorrow's not promised.
Never.
And every day when you're through something like that, we've been through not similar, but kinds of things that definitely could have been life ending. And when you wake up, you go, hey, thanks God.
Yeah.
I'm here one more day. What a blessing. Now let's try to look at the positive of what we can do and the difference we can make in other people's lives, our families' lives, whatever. You never know who you're going to run into that day too. So
seize the day and kick some ass.
Absolutely.
I agree with that. Well, and let's bring it down to a little bit smaller level too. So we're talking about big things, right? Like me almost losing my life, the situation that BJ got in, but it could be something like somebody right now lost their job.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, what do you do if you lose your job, right? Maybe you've been working there for 50 years. Maybe you've been working there for 5 minutes. Who knows what it is? And the situation right now that everybody's going through in the world is affecting everybody. Maybe you need the government stimulus that's coming through. What do you do with it? Like all of these little tiny things. Do you need to get another insurance for your family since your job is gone? Do you need to do these things? These are all detrimental things, right, to protect your family.
Right.
But they're solvable, achievable things. So maybe you eat the elephant one bite at a time. You go through and you just chug away at it. You get your family insurance. Then you go look for another job. Then you do whatever it takes to be able to get there, because I did whatever it took to save my own life. My family did whatever it took to save my life. BJ did whatever he had to do to save him and his family's lives. I think that all of these situations are very, very reality gut checks to tell people, hey, we're here and life is not guaranteed. Who knows what this COVID thing is going to do?
Right.
Who knows how people are going to turn out? Who knows what's going to happen in the next 6 months? But if everybody concentrates on being a positive person, trying to achieve more, being better, I think it'd be a huge, huge improvement.
Yep. Focus on the positive. Absolutely.
Exactly. Can you read what Travis said right there? I can't see it.
Travis said, I think it's rad, too, that you're talking about this because it's crazy times. I've seen some mean and crazy people. Yeah, we have to. I stopped going to the store with my mom. Yeah, I hear you, Travis.
Yeah, it is crazy. And those are kind of the things that I'm talking about,
Yep.
Like maybe they're medial or,
Right.
they're not huge, huge issues, but they're very, very prominent for everybody.
Yeah, and these are the times when, like you said, just start adding it up. You can make a hypothetical situation in your mind where, okay, everything's good, all this stuff starts happening, and then you lose your job.
Yeah.
And then, okay, so you're doing the best you can, and now you can't feed your kid. You lose the car, whatever. And then, unfortunately, this is what pushes people maybe that aren't 100 all the time to now maybe react on something that they normally wouldn't. And not to apply that to that, the BJ situation, but I feel like that's happening.
Yeah,
with
everybody.
Yeah,
and that's why I wanted to talk about it today.
Right.
And what do they say? Necessity is the mother of invention, but necessity is also the mother of progression too. Mm-hmm. And to be able to move forward and to be able to make things happen.
Right.
I get people telling me all the time, "How do you do it?" Right? And I go, "Because I don't have a choice. Like there's no other way." I've been self-motivated my whole life, but truthfully, the self-motivation is because I always just want to be better, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that has a big thing to do with the things that I've been through, and now everybody is going through something significant.
Right.
Nobody on the planet right now.
This has made an impact on everyone.
Yeah.
Some way or another. It for sure has.
We're all connected, right?
Right.
Every single person that's living on the planet right now is connected.
And we all have a choice. Make the right choice or make the wrong choice in pretty much every situation.
Yeah. So I think it's good that we're talking about this, and I think we can all make some positive steps moving forward. B-Rat just jumped on and gave us a thumbs up. What's up, dude? How are you? Thanks for having me. See you this weekend. Yeah, thanks, Brian. We really appreciate it. So I don't know, man. You got anything else, or should we bring on our featured guest here? Go to commercial break and bring her on.
Yeah, I think we beat that one up pretty good.
Yeah, well, I definitely do too. But I think it really needed it.
Yeah,
like, I genuinely do think it needed it.
Yep.
And the catalyst here is just be a good person, right? And just move forward and be a strong person. Protect your family. All right, so let's take a commercial break, and we will be right back with our featured guest tonight. Actually, you know what? Wait, we forgot. Let's do the rugged giveaway.
Oh, yeah, heck yeah.
Let's give away those radios real quick, and then we'll get Sarah on. Okay, so let me get over to my Instagram page and the Dirt Life Instagram page, and we'll find the post real quick, and we will pick a winner.
While you're doing that, Rory says this is good. Life's a garden. Dig it.
Dude.
Hashtag Joe Dirt.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, so let me open up all these comments here. It looks like we got over 100 people or so that actually commented in. So let me load all these bad boys.
Awesome.
So,
and thanks, Nick. We're just trying to spread the love the best we can.
Let's lean forward a little bit so we can show everybody. So I'm going to scroll around a little bit here in the comments just so you guys can see. And this was on an Instagram post that we posted about a week ago with me talking about the contest. So, all right, Case, put your finger up here.
Tell me when.
We'll be right in the middle, and then hold on. All right, pick somebody. So let's see. King Abraham _18. Can you guys see that? So King Abraham _18. Let me see if you posted it to your story, because that was one of the rules.
Got some sweet rugged radios if he followed the rules.
Let's see what we got here. So let me go check the messages and see if King Abraham
I'll bet he
posted.
followed the rules.
Ooh, I don't know if he did, man.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh. So that means that we might be able to give another giveaway. King _ Nope. Doesn't look like he did. So, King Abraham, unfortunately, it doesn't look like you sent us a message, which means that you didn't post on your Instagram story, so you didn't follow all the rules. We're going to have to go back and pick another winner here.
Dang it.
So, King Abraham, you got to read the rules, bud.
Sorry, bro.
Yeah, it does suck. Okay, let's try this one more time, man. Man, I wish King Abraham won it. So let's do it again. All right, you ready?
Ready.
Hopefully it's not land on him. Go. Fernando 1_9. All right, let's see if Fernando sent us. Dude, if he didn't,
all right,
we're going to have to go
Fernando.
through this. Yeah. Fernando.
Help us out, buddy.
1_9. Let's see if you sent a message over here, bud. Hopefully you did.
Come on, man.
Dude. I don't think he did, man. Nope. He didn't either. Man, you guys aren't really paying attention to the rules of the contest, are you?
Should we just scroll the messages instead?
We can't because the Dirt Life gets a bunch of messages.
Oh,
so
shoot.
we wouldn't be able to see everybody. Man, it doesn't seem like very many people want to win these things, dude. They don't read all the rules.
The lawyer,
That's okay.
The lawyer speak at the end.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's not that hard. Okay,
kidding.
ready? Let's try it again.
Come on, baby.
Okay, Danny_Rex18. Oh, I think I know her. So, yeah, I think she might have sent us one. Let's see if she sent a message. Danny, if you didn't, and I know you too. Oh my gosh, she didn't either.
No.
Dude, no way. So really nobody's paying attention to these freaking rules, man. So we're going to go for the fourth time. I thought the third time was going to be a charm. Danny, I wish you would won them. Let's try it again, man.
Do we just pick numbers right now? Give us the best number?
Seriously.
To anybody listening?
How do we give it away? Well, the problem is we have so many people that entered for the contest or for the giveaway. And
Alfonso says rules are rules. Yeah.
Dude, they really are.
Alfonso.
All right, let's go. Let's do a little. So you picked Eden Huerta. Eden Huerta. Okay. So let's see if Eden Huerta got it. So let's see here. Eden. No freaking way.
You got to be kidding me.
Nope. I don't even know what to do, man. I don't understand this is kind of aggravating, actually.
All right,
I thought we were going to be able to do it once and be done.
Well, let's go 5 Dungy.
What do you mean 5 Dungy?
Well, we just did 4, so let's go with a good.
Oh, 5. Yeah, let's do it. Okay. Let's try it again. Oh, here we go. _Grant Uri. Sweet. I think he did.
Come on, Grant.
I really think he did.
Help us out.
So I think we're good.
Parker James says, I'll take them if you want. I know, bro. We want to give them away too, but we got to follow the rules.
Yeah, he did.
Yes.
Sweet.
High five.
So, Grant, dude, you're good.
John LeBoy says, I don't think I did either.
Grant Owens
I'm
Uri.
old.
Yeah, and I've talked to you a couple times too, bud, when you messaged the Dirt Life. So you're stoked, bud. Thank you very much for participating in the contest.
Rugged Radio.
Direct message the Dirt Life, and we'll get these sent out to you. So thank you very much to the guys at Rugged Radios for offering these badass radios. These things are killer. Awesome to have him win. Maybe you could post a story of what you're doing with these on Instagram and tag Rugged and tag us. And
that'd be awesome.
Yeah, so that way we can send a little thank you to those guys.
I want to see some COVID neighbor stuff.
Dude, I really do. I wanted to do, I did such a boring video just sitting in the garage, talking about these things for the giveaway, but I really wanted to do something fun. I wanted to go, through the drive-thru and talking to, your friend in the truck in front of you. Or
what we should have done, since I did this, 3 or 4 times the last couple of days in Home Depot.
Yeah.
Is you got to do the herd. They've got you herded like cattle.
Yeah, outside.
And it's when it's busy, which it is, because everybody's at home trying to do something. You could be talking to your pal.
Yeah, down the aisle,
20 feet away.
Yeah,
in Home Depot,
just or in the different aisles.
Right.
You know what? That actually brings up a good point. Even if COVID didn't exist, you always lose the kids, or you always lose your friends in the grocery store, or Home Depot, or IKEA.
Totally.
So if you just carry these things around with you all the time, you're good.
You're good.
All right. Well, yeah. Thanks, guys, for joining that contest. We have some other contests that are going to be coming up here pretty soon, so please pay attention to our social media. We are going to have Sara Price on in just a little bit. Let's go to a commercial break, and we'll bring her on. Thank you, guys. See you in a bit. Zollinger Racing builds the best aftermarket products available. Products for your UTV or snowmobile, including billet radius rods, billet tie rods, billet steering knuckles, billet steering racks, alternator kits, and much more. All manufactured in the United States in-house at their headquarters in Nibley, Utah. Travis Zollinger and his team test in some of the most brutal conditions, racing in places like the Best in the Desert Mint 400,
Ultra 4 King of the Hammers, UTV World Championships, and many more. Visit ZollingerRacingProducts.com and use the code DIRTLIFE to get 10% off your next purchase, and join us on social media at Zollinger Racing Products to see our products in action. Zollinger Racing, the best products, period.
Hello, I'm Justin, the founder of Shock Therapy. Shock Therapy has been around for 5 years, but we have personally been tuning suspension on off-road cars and race vehicles for over 25 years. We tune between 10 and 15 cars per day, every single day of the week. Our concentration is tuning shock systems and supplying components that improve the ride quality of your car in many ways. Not only do we work on the average UTV, but we also tune suspension for race teams and professional drivers. We currently tune for over 87 race teams in Best in Desert and Score. Our clients and race teams rely on our suspension components to allow them to win races and keep them safe. Suspension is a moving target. We are always trying to hit that target with every customer that we work with. Each customer's needs can be different, and we tune our kits accordingly. Our research and development never stops. We improve our components every single day. As the industry evolves and improves, so do our parts and kits. As of right now, we have over 100 products for UTVs. So when you bring your car to us, you have the satisfaction of knowing that you have the most experience, the highest quality products, and the fact that your car is being tuned specifically to you.
Yeah, finally, we got Lance from Solderweld in the studio. Thanks for coming down, bud. Hey, why don't we just record a commercial now?
Yeah, why not? So good to be here, man. It's been a lot. I've been trying to get down here forever, and I wanted to talk about the off-road kit.
Dude, I love those things. I got it in my pack.
Yeah, we're running hundreds of vehicles now running them, whether it's a UTV or some guy's got it in a backpack on his motocross. He's got everything he needs to make a fix right there on the fly, out on the trail, or in the desert, whatever it is.
Well, since I've already used one, I kind of know what to use it for, but explain what it does.
All right, so let's pull one out real quick. You've got your aluminum rods. Remember, they're rods, right? So, light torch, small torch. You can throw it in there or throw it on the rig with your flux. It decontaminates and cleans like let's say a radiator. You get a random rock chip runs through as you're racing. You get a rock chip in a radiator. You got to fix it right there, or you're out of the race.
You can patch it up
You can patch it up. It's all good to go.
Yep, just like welding.
Yeah. Also, as well with that, you've got a brake line fix. So with your flux, you can fix a brake line, stainless steel. And then your hot block, heat absorption putty. So it keeps you from getting burned, number one, as well as keeps the heat from traveling. So it's really nice.
I've used this not even to fix anything, so that stuff works so good, man.
Listen, it's easy. It straps in nicely so that you have everything you need in one little place, and you don't have to carry a big bag in
it's
the
like a first
truck.
aid kit for your vehicle.
Yeah, Chase trucks have it as well, so that if they need to make a fix on the fly, they can get it done and get it done quick and get you back in the race.
Dude, those things are so cool. All right, so it's at Solderweld on Instagram, Facebook, and solderweld.com.
Awesome.
All right, thanks, bud.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, buddy, we are back, and we have the wonderful Sara Price with us. How are you doing?
Good. How are you guys?
We're doing awesome. So you've accomplished so much in your life. Some people may or may not know all of the things that you've done. Sara Price is a very, very motivated and driven individual. Sara has done tons of stuff in motocross. She was a multi-time amateur champion. And when I say multi, I'm talking like, 17 or more amateur titles. She's a business owner now. She's done beauty pageants. She's also done Lucas Offroad short course racing. She's doing trophy trucks now. She's also it just blows my mind. She's also still riding her dirt bike, and she's a stunt woman. So she's been helping out with stunts. She's starting to do stuff in movies for the stunt work. And, man, I can't thank you enough for coming on the show. You have so much going on in such a busy life. I really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks so much. Right now, everything's kind of on standstill. The whole world is. So, as crazy of a time it is, it's been kind of at the same time, I have time to catch up on all these projects that I've had tucked away for the last few years. So some exciting things coming from those. But yeah, it's always pretty busy for me. So it's kind of weird to have this calm time.
Did it make you have to slow down and just chill?
Yeah, definitely. And it's kind of, I don't know. I look back on my normal life when this quarantine isn't happening, and I'm like, how do I do all that?
Yeah. I was going to say, it sounds like you're not wired for that. Just chill.
Yeah. No, I can do it pretty well if I, can get some energy out, I guess. But if I can't get my energy out in some sort of way, then yeah, I'm pretty screwed.
Yeah, I was going to say, if there's a level of 100, she's above that.
Well, and all those different paths are just, as you're saying them, I'm like, man, that is impressive. Just picking one thing and then in the next, and obviously somehow they tie. I can't wait to hear all the story of how they all can, how all the dots connect. But all those different things are
it's
pretty
really
impressive.
Cool. And we always talk about pivoting and going in different directions, right? She's been really, really good at doing that. Well, if you don't mind, Sarah, let's kind of take it back to when you were a little girl. What even got you into motorsports? Was it your family?
Yeah. So my dad, he used to race in Baja in desert racing in a Class 10 class. In the Class 10 car. And so he kind of came from racing. It was kind of in our blood at an early age, I guess you would say. When I was younger, I got to go to his races and see him race. Then our next door neighbor was a motocross racer by the name of Josh Grant.
Oh, cool.
And so that was one of my brother's best friends. And so he got my brother into racing motocross. And then I, at the time, got into horseback. And so I was competing on horses. And my parents didn't know what to do with me when they would bring my brother to the motocross track. So they got me a XR50, and I basically just sat there and did motos on the Pee Wee track the whole entire time while my brother trained. And one thing led to another, and I just kept going with it and absolutely fell in love with it and became a motorhead. And
dude,
I continue to do that in all forms.
We got to take a step back here. So, Sarah, we have this running thing on the show, right?
Yeah.
And this is not even a running thing that we do on our own. Almost every single guest is from PW50. They all have PW. You just said XR.
Yeah, you said XR. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, when you said that, I was like, wait, so she started shifting.
She mixed it up. I like it.
Yep, never done PW.
Dude.
She's a four-stroker from forever ago.
True and true.
Nice.
Did your dad get that thing all modded out? You wish you still had that bad boy?
No, my first bike was very stock. And then after that, when I probably was professional now, where, I was on big bikes or 85s, I was back on XR50s and 110s. We were racing them pretty seriously because they got big there for a while.
Yeah.
We had nationals and everything. So it was kind of funny. The older I got, I went back to the XR50s, and then it was pretty modded out. And then we had a KLX 110s, and they're little monsters.
Lucretia said hi as well. So,
oh, she's awesome.
That's
she
so
is
fun.
awesome.
I'm I think I need to clip that part that she had the XR50 and do some sort of well, you got to send a picture. Does your dad or your parents have any pictures of you on the XR50?
I do. I have one picture of me jumping that XR.
Dude, that's so sweet.
I've got such a messed up view of the XR50 because remember Ryan Wilson?
Yeah.
And that super modded one that Craig built for him?
Yep.
It's forever turned that bike different to me. I can picture you riding the stock one, but
I feel like his had nitrous.
He ran nitromethane. That was the fuel he ran.
What?
It was
in
insane.
An XR50?
This thing was...
He would wax KX60s, though. He was... fast.
He had a hatred for anything.
With a 10-inch wheel too. That's gonna
totally
be sketch.
He had a hatred for anything other than Honda. Period.
Yeah.
And if Honda only makes a 4-stroke 50, then that's what we're doing, and that's what he did. And it was pretty insane what Ryan was able to do with that thing.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. All right, so that's cool that your family, like, it's a kind of the traditional story that the family gets them into racing and stuff. So did you always chase your brother around? Is that kind of what you were doing, and Josh, or like what was the?
Kinda, not really. So like my brother's 5 years older than me. He raced super minis when I was racing the 50. So he actually, there comes this time, my brother's completely opposite from me. He's like super calm, like super passive and like not aggressive, and he is really fast, so he'll lay down like the fastest lap time there absolutely is. But then the moment people kind of get into the mix is where he didn't excel.
Oh,
well, he ended up crashing pretty bad. He stretched his spinal cord, and he's kind of like, in motocross it comes a time where you really have to put your effort in, and like you're either going to train and you're going to live this moto life, or you're going to do the normal life kind of thing, and he is like, I want to have a girlfriend. I want to have a normal life. And, that it's super awesome which route he took. But I was just like, oh, I don't care. Racing's my life. Like, I'm racing. Like, no one's going to stop me kind of thing. And so I kind of started dragging my parents around. And my dad didn't come from dirt bikes. So he kind of learned as we go, too, I guess.
That's cool, though. So you have the support system, at least.
Yeah, definitely. My whole family is motorheads. Like, even my mom, she'll stay back, run the family business. But she'll go to all the races, and she's just as competitive as well.
Oh, right on. So were you also, like, was the family making you wrench on your bikes and kind of learn the ins and outs of how things work too?
Yeah, definitely. So when I started like climbing through the ranks in motocross, like I'm testing with companies like Pro Circuit, and that was like my dream in motocross was to be on Kawasaki Team Green, which was basically like their amateur program. Little did I know that I was going to reach a factory level, which is just absolutely unheard of still till today. And yeah, when I'm testing with companies like Pro Circuit that make the best engines and suspension parts for those bikes, I'm not going to go out there and waste their time. And my dad, the first thing he said was like, cool, go take apart those shocks and go figure out how they work. So when you're giving them feedback, you know what you're talking about. You're not just sitting there, rambling out anything, and you possibly can. So yeah, I definitely, I enjoy working on stuff. I work on all my razors now most of the time. It gets so busy. So I have a mechanic, Dan Gonzalez, now, who helps me quite a bit with all those. But yeah, I love working on stuff.
Yeah, that's super cool. Casey and I, one of the main reasons we started the Dirt Life Show is because we've seen how much, growing up in the dirt, working on things and figuring things out and paving your own way and stuff very similar to the life that you started, really actually helps individuals in the future, like when they get a job or when they do it, even if they don't become a motocross professional, and they go and work in construction. Maybe they're not the low guy on the totem pole. They get to the top part of the construction, they do good. So I think it's really, really admirable that your dad was able to put you through the ringer.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's if I was racing down in Baja right now and I didn't have mechanic skills, most likely I wouldn't have finished as many Baja races as we have so far. So it's definitely a good thing to have the wits about you to take things apart and put them back together. And I can't say I'm the best at it. I can't say I'm the fastest at it, but I at least can figure it out and have my wits about me to do it.
Yeah, you probably think about it too. Like when you're driving, even whether you're driving a truck, a car, a razor, whatever it is, or even your dirt bike, like, oh, I can feel something happening with the car, and you can probably pinpoint it in your brain before the mechanic or whoever's helping you gets out to work on it.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, that's the biggest thing, is being able to diagnose the situation before you even can get to a pit, so you can get that handled as fast as you can, or when it happens on the course, figure it out as well. I've learned a lot about the trophy trucks just with trial and error and little things. And it's funny because recently I stepped into an actual trophy truck, and we had some issues when we were testing. And it was the same exact issues I was having in my spec truck. And I was like, hey, I don't think it's fuel pumps. I think it's the wiring. And, we were all convinced that maybe it was, and it was. And then we checked the wiring, and of course it was the same exact issue.
Yeah.
So it's funny. It's cool though. Like, you learn these things kind of as it goes too, because sometimes I'm not able to be there to tear apart a whole trophy truck and put it back together. So I'm trying to crash course it whenever I do get time with the trucks,
Yeah, exactly. But at least you laid down the framework, beforehand when you were young.
Yeah.
Just before we continue on with the conversation, if anybody has any comments or questions for Sarah, or they want to chime in and say something nice about her too, you guys can on Facebook or YouTube, either one. So you got the XR50 and you started doing that and you started working your way up. When was it or how old were you, I guess is a better question, when you started thinking like, oh, okay, well, I'll start riding the 65s and the 85s and maybe I really want to start doing this as a profession or put some effort into this?
So I got my 50 when I was 8 years old. And then right after that, I went straight to racing and won my first race. I was pretty much hooked after that. I was racing as much as I possibly could, as much as my parents would let me. And then it was to the 65 and then to the 85. And then at that point, I was doing so well just locally that we had quite a few families come up to my parents and say they should take me to the nationals. So we loaded up and we went to Texas for our first national and I won that. And then, pretty much I was hooked from the very beginning. I would say the moment I even got on a motorcycle, and that was my dream goal, everything. And I don't think I ever swayed from that. That was it for me, all the way till I was 18 years old. And I guess I pretty much retired from motocross at this point, I guess you would say, at 18.
Yeah, but you retired with a whole bunch of championships under your belt. Do you remember any specific, because Casey always asks this question, any specific race, win or lose, doesn't matter, or any specific ride that was super memorable?
I would have to say winning Loretta Lynn's. It's this amateur national that you're at the country singer's house, Loretta Lynn. And it's the biggest race as an amateur to win. It is by far the most watched. All the companies are going off of that race for results and everything in motocross.
Yep.
And so I had won it in 2006, I think, maybe 5. But yeah, and I came in second 3 other years because I would go win one. It's 3-moto format, and then I get 11th. And 2 times I did the exact same, 1-1-11, and for a second overall because it'd be a mud race, and I sucked in the mud.
Dude, and what, you just super pissed at yourself?
Yeah, it sucks, but hey, I always did the best I could, and that's all I could ask for. But
yeah,
at least I got the one. That's all that mattered.
Exactly. And I remember going there too, because I never reached the top level or anything, but I remember going there in the B class, and for I got, I think maybe top 5 or 6 or something in one of the motos, and then the second moto I broke my tailbone in a first turn pileup or something, and I was like, dude, we just drove this whole way.
Now we got to drive home.
Well, first of all, I got to sit on my butt the whole way home. But I was even more pissed because we wasted all that time. Yeah. So, going there and winning must be so gratifying because you're yes.
Yeah. Because you have all the qualifiers to get there.
Yep.
It's just such a big deal, But yeah, no, that sucks. That's the one thing about dirt bikes. Dirt bikes hurt. It's not if, it's when.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
so true.
Totally.
We're walking examples of that, both of us.
Yeah, exactly.
All 3 of us probably.
So we had a couple comments come in. One of them is a pretty simple one. Do you like RC cars?
I don't have much experience with RC cars, but BF Goodrich just sent me a RC car, and it's this rock crawler thing. And one of my buddies, or my boyfriend actually, Ricky Braybeck, he was looking, he's like, dude, this is the nicest RC car ever. This is already has metal wheels. And I was like, I don't know what it is.
You're like, I just want to drive it.
So, we were rock crawling it in my backyard, and
nice.
I guess it's cool. So
Case,
I need to get up on my RC game.
Yeah, Casey's top of the RC game. He knows all about them. But he showed me a rock crawler thing. I just have this little one right here, but he showed me a rock crawler one. It's looks like a Jeep. I don't know if that's what yours looks like, but he started driving it around at the house, and it's got it can go over really big rocks. It's got 2-speed. It's got a locking differential, the whole deal.
What?
Yeah, the scale stuff is really it is pretty cool. You can geek out pretty hard on it.
I think it's pretty cool.
I know they're expensive too when you get into the batteries and all that, but that's wild. It's like the pictures that they take. Like, is this real or fake?
Yeah,
you know?
totally.
And it's like you could totally trick someone.
Right.
Well, knowing how good she is at stuff, maybe she's gonna like waste everybody RC cars now.
Probably.
We had Parker James asked if you were going to do any trophy truck races this year. I would assume yes, once the things lift.
Yeah, so I just raced my first official trophy truck race at the Mint 400, and then with the Chattanooga Whiskey Geyser Brothers team, and we are going to be racing the same truck again at Vegas to Reno. So I'm super excited about that. Kellen Watch will be navigating with me again, and yeah, I'm on cloud 9 with the whole trophy truck thing, because that's
can
just
imagine.
something I never would have thought.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I definitely want to talk about that stuff because there's a few questions personally that I have with that. But let's kind of follow along the timeline then. So obviously you achieved a lot in the motocross world. Some of the things that I like to understand about people as generally speaking, you're good with people, you're good with your sponsors now, and you're good with marketing yourself. What kind of stuff did you learn going through that process of dirt bike riding and achieving a professional level? You obviously learned hard work and maintaining your body and stuff, but you ran into people all the time, right? And so what did you learn to be able to get to the point where you're at now through that process?
Number one is always keep a good reputation. Like, always stand by what you believe in as well. Like, don't just, endorse a product or company because they're just trying to give you more product or give you more money.
Mm-hmm.
Like, actually believe in it before you put your name alongside of it, because when you talk about it, people are going to know when you're truthful or not. But yeah, is always just put on the best person you could possibly be, because you never know, where people end up or what might get said. And it's just, just if you have good karma and you feel like you've done the best thing you possibly can to, help everyone around you, plus the companies that help you and the people that help you, then that's all you can do, as your very best.
Yeah, 100%. And one of the things that Casey likes to talk about too is the negative part of it. Like, so you lose a race, right? Don't ever throw your helmet.
Yeah, and you made an excellent point to anybody listening, because like you say, we hear it all the time. How to get sponsored? And that goes across all industries. And one of the things that you brought up, a huge point that's so important, and it's obvious that you're loyal to your sponsors and you believe in them and etc. But if you think about your whole race program, apply it to any kind of industry. Think of that whole thing and think of what that costs. It's a lot of money.
Like, even if you have an electrical job or something?
Whatever you're doing. So thinking of your race program, is it a really smart decision to take, like you said, somebody's help just to take it when maybe it possibly is putting the whole investment on the line? Like, that doesn't make sense. So like you said, you want to represent products that you 100% know that when you're talking to whoever it is, asking about it, that you're telling the truth 100%. Yeah, I believe in this because it works. Not, like you said, because, hey, I got a deal on this, so I'm taking it, but technically maybe you're not even using it. Like, that's terrible.
Dude, I feel like a ton of people do that too. I got free stuff.
Yeah,
cool.
Look at me, I get another sticker or whatever.
Yeah.
And, and I'm not trying to knock everybody. I'm just saying, think of the investment of the race program. And if that little thing is 2%, just buy it. Just buy the one that's right. And then
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes.
I agree. I 100% agree.
And you take that to any industry, I believe. A huge in the RC side of things, we saw that a lot, but I'll bet it's everywhere. Motocross, off-road racing, it has to be.
Okay. Well, crap. We had a comment, but it went away. So, all right.
Was it the beauty pageant one?
Yeah, I actually am interested
great.
in this.
Yeah, that's a great question.
So you go ahead and read it to Sarah real quick.
So Alfonso asks, what's more intense competition, off-road or beauty pageants? This is a good question, because I guarantee he said, what's more intense, competition off-road or a beauty pageant? Which more intense?
Beauty pageants were intense. The reason why
I'll bet.
The reason why I got into beauty pageants was because I had popped my shoulder out at X Games, and I was down with the shoulder reconstruction, and I got an invitation to do the Donald Trump Miss USA pageant for California. And I just was like, you know what? I'm not doing anything right now. This is a good reason to stay in shape. And then also to get motocross out there that girls can, be a girl and then also ride and kick butt.
That's awesome.
And so
that's crazy.
I decided to do it.
Love it.
Yeah, and I had like a bum shoulder when I was doing this, so that's what's funny. Is like I'm all scarred up, and yeah, it was a good experience. I wouldn't trade it for anything. Not my thing. Obviously, I didn't continue with them. I did 2 and won 1, and then the next one
No
I don't
big
even know
deal.
what place I got. Probably not
No big deal.
the best. But yeah, it was pretty cool to learn. Like I learned how to put a lot of makeup on. That was good.
How was it with the other ladies when, I mean, I don't know if you can see the stuff that you have going on with your shoulder or not, or you can. So
Yeah, you can. Yeah, they're pretty noticeable scars. And I have like a plate over here. And then I have a skin graft actually on my left leg that's pretty large too.
So I would imagine that brought up a lot of questions and talking and total sidebar conversations that are probably way out of nowhere with the standard beauty pageant crowd. I would imagine that was probably pretty fun.
Oh yeah, it was very interesting. Like even when I had to do the business interview part, like I walked in there and they're, a lot of the girls were from college and they're doing, studying a major or something. And I come in there and they're like, what? What do you do?
What do you do? You play in the dirt?
Why are you here?
That's awesome.
Yeah,
So
it was
cool.
pretty funny.
I love that. I kind of have I can't make, like, I never entered a beauty pageant. I would lose so hard. But I kind of have the same thing because the way that I got into off-road racing or side-by-side racing was I didn't have enough money to do it, but I wanted to make an impact. And I didn't really care about, like, I like riding bicycles, but I wanted to make a really big impact. And being paralyzed and doing an Ironman was, like, unheard of, right? So I went and I did that. Like, I never did a triathlon. I never swam, nothing. And I just went and knocked it out. And it was like the same thing though. I had absolutely I was so naive. I had no idea what I was doing. And finally, like, I did it and I was like, okay, I'm good. Like,
That's enough.
peace. Yeah, I'm out. So I could
That's so awesome. No, that's insane.
I could totally relate to it though, because you're like, nah, not my thing. Later.
Yeah, it was really fun. It was cool. It's funny looking back. I'm like, oh man, I forgot I did that.
Oh, what does that say from Yvette right there?
Yvette, it says Travis. So Travis Bryan, I think. Travis comes from a pageant house, LOL. All his sisters did the Miss California pageant. I love this.
Oh, great. So he's dealing with all his sisters with their pageant life. Oh, great.
Oh, they're probably all stoked.
Okay, so you knocked that out, which I think is really, really cool. That might be something that not that many people know that you did. And actually, kudos to you for doing it, like, because that's totally out of your realm, right? I mean, like...
I like that you...
Yeah, I was not comfortable.
I like that you're like, yeah, I won, and then she took her chips and peaced out. That's so funny. It's been nice.
Yeah.
It's been good, lady. See you later.
What did you do? What'd you do, like, after that? Or, like, where'd you go after the amateur championships and the pageant stuff?
After amateur, that's when I got signed by Factory Kawasaki. And so I was on that team with Ryan Villapoto and Chad Reed at the time. Villapoto had got hurt, so Nick Way filled in for him. Mm-hmm. And then medaled in X Games, and after X Games, it was kind of like, all right, they took us out and it was really tough to kind of make a living in it. And so I had to kind of do some real thinking. My parents were like, Sarah, we thought there would be a light at the end of the tunnel here. And I don't know how you could even afford to rent an apartment, let alone live the way you would like or the way we would like you to live. And so I took a deeper look into how I'm going to make a normal life for myself. Yeah. And I know a 9-to-5 isn't cut out for me. And my whole family comes from auto paint. So I put my head down and I basically was like, cool, I'm going to start a touch-up business and this is what I'm going to do. And here's my plan. And I just executed it. And so that's how I made my own money in order to buy my first side-by-side. And so I started my business pretty early after 18 years old, actually. And that's how I continued to fund my own race program. And it felt really good to get on my own 2 feet by myself to do that. And fell in love with 4 wheels.
Yeah, and well, this kind of goes along with both subjects that we were talking about the cost of it. Is Zach McKinley said it costs twice as much to DNF, spend the cash or stay home. But motorsports in general are expensive, whether you're on a dirt bike or even more in the bigger stuff with 4 wheels. And I applaud that because that's a pretty big step to take. So she achieves a factory ride, right? Like, first of all, that is amazing. Like both of us sitting here were never able to do that. We wanted to, but we didn't achieve those goals. And a lot of people say the same thing, right? Because there's only so many spots that you can get on race teams. And there's hundreds and hundreds, thousands of people that are vying for those spots. And you achieved that level, so you kind of rushed on it, but I think you should definitely give yourself a pat on the back for all that hard work that you did through your teenage years and being able to do that, because there's not very many people that can say that, Sarah, so good on you.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a lot of sacrifice, I guess you would say. My childhood wasn't a normal childhood. I did school on the road. I didn't really have a lot of friends. And that was another thing, like when I didn't have motocross anymore, it was like, oh gosh, like how do I be normal? Like, I don't know anything but racing. I only know racing people. Like, how do I have normal friends? That was a big step personally for me too, along with all that. But yeah, even when I was racing at the top level of motocross, it wasn't like I was, I'm a factory racer, but doesn't mean I was making tons of money or enough money to even live. And that's kind of the risk and reward you take with racing, and you kind of have to balance it out sometimes and figure out other ways.
Yeah, 100%. But along the lines of you saying that, like, you can hear the humility in her voice. Like, you stayed level-headed the whole time, right? So you knew that any challenge that you were going to accept in the future, you had to work for it. So that's pretty awesome. And then you go out and you start your own business. Starting your own business is not easy.
And at 18 or 19.
Yeah,
right?
At a young age.
That's pretty awesome.
So what'd you have to do to get that thing kicked off? Did you have some help from your family then as well?
I just basically what I did was I was at my parents' shop a few days a week. They own a big body shop called Auto Styles in Riverside. And so I was working with them a little bit, but I was like, I don't want to be like, they wanted me to take it over, my brother. And it just wasn't for me. I don't want to have overhead. I don't want to have a bunch of employees and be stuck, because I'm someone who thrives off of freedom and adventure and riding my dirt bike and driving stuff.
No,
and,
really?
I want to do that forever. So I just was like, cool. My aunt, my uncles, my cousins have done the touch-up paint. So I went 2 days and I worked with my aunt. I learned a crash course and basically put my head down, and I started knocking on dealerships' doors and requiring their business, saying, hey, I touch up cars, and I promise you I will do the best job you can possibly do. Like, let me give you a free demo. And then I started getting work and I started making money, and then the rest is history kind of. And then after that, now today with my business, SP Enterprises, I'm nationwide, and I have 6 girls, and they're all racers themselves. That also do it, and 2 of my best friends are kind of the ones that helped me branch out to start that, and now I have 10 girls on standby waiting to train, and they're all in the racing industry as well. They want to paint cars during the week so they can go racing or do what they love on the weekend with motors.
Dude, that is so admirable.
It's so cool. You know what I see all the time too with a fellow racer, whatever industry it is, but you kind of get wired to be the type that takes chances, and because think about the chances you had to take.
Calculated chances.
Calculated chances, right? And then sometimes you're it almost seems like we're the first ones to take that leap of faith and go, I know what I'm capable of. Let's do this. I don't know all the answers, but we'll figure it out. I mean, I'm sure you feel that way, obviously, because at 18 you're like, hey, let's make this happen. I mean, I can imagine how big the world seemed at that moment, and you're like, let's do it.
Yeah, most definitely. And I would have to say, like, that's probably my biggest life lesson so far, is like going from that time when I didn't know where I was going to end up or what I was going to do to make any sort of money. I kind of was like, how in the heck do people even make this amount to be able to live? And I didn't believe in myself. I was like, is this even possible? Well, I put my head down and I call it the flip switch, or flip the switch. And when I flip the switch, it's just, you make it happen. And, if you put your mind to it, anything's possible. And that's off and on the track, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
30-second board goes and then you go into a different mode. I totally understand. 100%. Yep.
That conversation right there is like exactly why we started this show, is because that's what teaches you to be such an amazing person in life. You know what I mean? So that's super cool. And we know a couple people that actually work for you now, so it's pretty neat to see that. So
Yeah.
you still have the business and you're still working on it now. But what was the next step after you started the business? Like, did that all of a sudden it was like, okay, well, maybe I can give myself a chance to start doing some more motorsport stuff that I love?
Yeah. So, well, my dad came from cars. So with age comes a cage. It was a lot nicer to know that, sorry, my boyfriend's looking at me making funny faces.
That's okay. Tell him to come sit down with you.
Yeah.
Come here, Ricky.
Invite him in.
They want to say hi.
So,
You could get a wine barrel. He's going to come say hi.
okay, cool. So, what's up, man? How are you
This is
doing?
the Dirt Life Show.
What's going on, guys?
How you doing?
It's good to see you. Hey, congratulations on the Dakar win, man. That's super cool.
Yep, thank you.
You kick some ass. And you got a lovely lady there, too. What are you guys going to have for dinner? I was hoping you guys would say tacos because that's what I want.
Hopefully she can come up with something nice. We're trying to diet, so hopefully she can think of something pretty good.
How about
tastes good?
Some corn tortilla tacos, maybe?
Ooh, tacos.
Not much of a taco guy, and I would never. I would never go corn tortilla. Always flour.
Oh, you're going flour? I thought you were trying to eat healthy.
This guy used to race in Mexico.
Well, so you got your business going, you got all that stuff done. Were you just kind of working your way up to make it to the next step then?
Yeah, so after that, I was actually loaned a Razor 800 to go racing, and I got hooked on it. After that, I was like, cool, okay, I'm making enough money. Maybe I can buy my own Razor. So I went ahead and I bought my own Razor. My first Razor was a Razor 900.
Was it that orange one that we saw?
Yeah, that was my first ever Razor.
That's cool because my first ever Razor was a pumpkin too.
No way.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's awesome.
My favorite color.
Yeah, so I bought that and I just started racing it myself, and I honestly worked on it a lot myself. That's how I learned to work on Razors, and I realized that dirt bikes were a lot easier once I went to 4-wheel.
Yeah.
Because now you have 2 more wheels to take care of.
And it's not even just double the work though. Like Jesse Nelson and I were talking about this the other day. It's like, how the hell does 2 more wheels make it like 100 times more work? Like, I don't get it.
So much more leverage on the parts as well.
I don't know, man.
It is.
And every time I'm washing, like, I get the dirt bike and I spray it off, and I'm like, Jesus, this is.
I'm done.
I just want to go back.
Yeah, you realize you're like, man, that's so simple. Like, oh, cool, you need to do an engine swap in a dirt bike today? No big deal. Razor, oh man.
See you next week.
It's gonna take a while.
Yeah, exactly.
There's so much more parts to 4 wheels, it's crazy. But yeah, no, so I did that. I started racing short course in the Lucas Oil Regional Series. And then I did Terracross, raced a Terex.
How was that
Africa.
How was that Well, I want to talk about the Africa thing, but how was that Terracross thing? Because it looks gnarly.
Terracross was awesome.
But isn't that where you jump the tires and the logs and all that crap?
Yeah. So you really had to be in control because they made the course very out of control. But I loved it because it was kind of like moto, like in side-by-sides. It was, I don't know. I had a blast doing it.
Yeah, that seems, well, like maybe like supercrossy kind of, huh? Because it's all tight.
Yeah. Yeah, it's basically like Supercross for side-by-sides. Like, it was the closest thing I've found to it so far. So I absolutely loved it because you had to time everything, jump stuff that, if you over-jump something, you're kind of screwed. If you under-jump it, you're kind of screwed. So it made it a lot of fun for me.
Wait a second here.
To learn how to find speed.
I'm going to go totally off subject here, but I just thought about Ricky's answer when he looked at you for dinner. Does that mean you're like the super good cook too?
No, I suck at cooking. Well, I'm not bad at cooking. I just don't do it very often.
I was like, wait a minute.
No, I don't cook a lot. I just kind of, I don't cook a lot. But when I do cook, I go all out. That's my thing with anything. There's no balance with me. I don't have like a do it halfway thing. It's either I go all out and I'm cooking like steak and lobster kind of stuff, or I'm not cooking.
Well, she did say it flipped a switch, so it really is an on or off switch.
Have you
There's
seen
no
those TikTok
medium.
videos when they do that flip a switch thing? That's what it reminded me of when you said flip a switch.
Yeah, I just hit the switch. Yeah.
Well, Casey and I are both like that. Is level 0 or 100 kind of thing. So I can definitely get on with that. Hey, when you guys do go eat, though, tell Ricky that we want to get him on the show in the next couple of months here too.
Yeah, I will.
So you got your razor and you started doing it. Obviously, you liked it.
Yeah, I absolutely loved it. I fell in love with. So that was one of the things I struggled. Like when I didn't have racing, it's like that's who I am. That's in my blood. I'm not going to be happy without it. So I was so stoked that I found another way to kind of curb that addiction. That was the biggest thing that I could have, done for my own happiness, I guess you would say, is continue to race, because I'm a racer. No matter what I'm doing, as long as I'm racing, I'll be happy. So, yeah, I got into the razors and started racing, doing anything and everything. We did rock crawling to short course to desert racing to all the way in Africa to who knows what else I've done in the razors. We've done all kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah, crazy stuff too. Like Eric Lundvall said that he wanted to call in and say hi, but we'll just tell him hi for you because the lines are closed right now. But so Eric Lundvall says hi. I don't know if you can say hi back with him.
Say hi. What's up?
So I am honestly really intrigued about that. Where was it? South Africa or Africa race that you did in the Terex?
This was in Africa, in Morocco, in the Sahara Desert for the Rally Ashti Gazelle in 2015.
But explain about that, because I think I remember seeing some social media posts. You don't have like a motorhome that you can stay in overnight, right? You have to like camp out and stuff, or give us a little bit of background on it.
So it's pretty much, so you have Dakar, and it's kind of similar to that, besides the fact that we aren't going off of speed. We have no electronics, no, we have a dead reckoning system, and we go off of plotting on a 1950s map, an outdated map, and we get GPS coordinates, and we have to plot our points, and it's the shortest distance wins. So when you're doing that in Africa and you have these megalodon mountains that you don't even know you can make it over, or if there's a way through, you kind of need to use your smarts and plot around it, and it's 9 days long. You sleep in a tent, and it's just you
an
and your
onboard
navigator,
tent. Like you pitch the tent every night, or do they have it done for you?
No, we have to pitch our own tent. We have to pack up. We have to do everything on course. If our car breaks, we have to fix it at night. We have marathon legs though, where we would have to stay out in the middle of the Sahara, where we wouldn't have any mechanics or anything to help us. So we would have to handle that. But if not, when we go back to our bivouac, then we would have the mechanics help sometimes.
So I would imagine Sahara Desert, there's probably not a lot of...
Put the mic a little closer to you.
There's probably not a lot of wildlife that you have to deal with, or is there some?
Yeah.
Okay, because...
There's these Sidewinder horn snakes.
Okay, yeah, that's gnarly.
I saw on my Instagram the other day was one at my dad's house in Arizona, and I was like, that's the snake from Africa.
Dude.
Because I'm just picturing it's like it sounds like it's pretty much self-supported for the most part, and I'm picturing that. Okay, so you're all worn out and wasted from the day of racing, riding, planning, doing the whole thing, and now you have to set up camp and try to relax somehow. And that's I don't know why. The first thing that came to my mind was, what kind of wildlife are we dealing with too?
Dude, all of us there
were scorpions everywhere.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so Erica, my navigator for almost everything, she has always been like, that's where we learned to zip the tent from the bottom up, because scorpions will climb in through your zipper part or whatever if you zip down on your tent. And by the way, we have the tightest tents. They're from Walmart, and I'm obsessed with my tent. I still have one. I'm on the fourth one now.
Dude, if we ever need any camping advice, we're calling you. That's gnarly.
Yeah.
So I was gonna put it in perspective. Like most of us, like us and the audience and stuff, everybody's used to glamping now, right? With these huge toy haulers and all this crazy stuff. First of all, I'm one of those people, but I would feel like such a wussy because I would be 9 days, right? I don't even want to stay in a tent for one night.
I know.
And she's racing across the African desert.
And worrying about scorpions and snakes, and I'm trying to like plot out how to race the race the next day, and she's thinking about if you zip this the right way, the scorpion doesn't come in.
So we have Yoli Stover said, "Well, tell Sarah she's awesome. We love her." Well, yeah, we think she's more awesome now because she knows the right way to zip with the tent for no scorpions.
Totally.
Erica taught me that, but yeah, I'm bougie too. Don't get me wrong. I love me some glamping, but I do like to pitch a tent every once in a while. I think it's fun. I recently got to a rally race I got to do for the first time called Sonora down in Mexico mainland, and it was like I was so stoked to sleep in my tent one night. It was the funniest thing ever.
That's cool. Is everybody else sleeping in tents too, or did you just did it?
No, I was like a lot of people did, but not really. Like, I would say I thought half the rally would at least be in tents, and I would say maybe 10 people were. So one night we didn't get a hotel, and our team, like it was our small team, it was just me, Kellen, the navigator, his family, the mechanic and media guy. And so we were just like, we're going to camp tonight. Like, we were looking forward to camping the whole time, but it never worked out. We kept scoring on hotel rooms.
That's like that whole race strategy where you can like outwit, like you're camping tonight. You're like, I'm going to beat all these dudes because like I'm way gnarlier than these guys because I'm going to go out camping.
Totally.
Did you guys do good on that rally?
Yeah, actually, we were, I'm not even kidding you. We were in a completely bone stock Turbo S, like stock ball joints, stock suspension, everything stock. Me and Kellen, we had ran out of gas probably at least every stage. And so we were just carrying gas, and like, we just wait till like we'd get so far ahead where we were leading that we'd be like planning for our running out of fuel time. And so then we'd gas up, and we'd hopefully not let the other person pass us in that amount of time. But he's very experienced when you're using road books like that. Kellen's been in a car like 9 times.
Oh, dang.
So it was really cool to learn that. And I never actually driven off of a road book, so it was cool to learn. But we would have actually won the whole thing, but we got penalized because I took my dad's car because mine, I had broke at the mint the week before. And it was a completely stock car, and I blew up his engine. So I had to do an engine swap while we were at Sonora, and we got penalized an hour because of it. And so we didn't end up getting the win, but we were for sure the fastest. Dang,
that's pretty cool. And that was probably a really cool experience too, huh?
Oh, it was so awesome. And it just made me even more hooked on. So since 2015, when I went to Africa, that has been my goal, was like wanting to go to Dakar. And, then the truck racing kind of took off for me. So that kind of got put in the behind the scenes a little bit. But yeah, that's definitely my dream, is more that kind of like going to Dakar one day, and then obviously getting to race like a trophy truck in Baja.
Yeah, that's cool. So, well, we can just go along with that then. So you kept racing the Razor, and you obviously went and you did that Africa race and stuff like that. But what was like the next significant step that you made in the motorsports career?
After that, I kind of got back, and I was racing the Razor, and we were doing all kinds of cool stuff. But then I was like, okay, what else? Like the motocross, you guys know how this is. You put your head down, and it's one thing only, and you're 24/7 training, riding, and it's you have one goal, and that's to ride that dirt bike as best as you possibly can in one form of motorsport, usually, like, or motocross for me. And so when I got into the side-by-sides, I kind of bounced around, and I wanted to do this discipline, and I wanted to learn it, and I wanted to master it. I wanted to do the discipline and do the same thing, and kind of, so I tried it all. And after that, I was like, okay, what else is there? Well, then I got the opportunity to race Stadium Super Truck, and did very well in that, and got signed my first race to continue the year out. And then after that, I got a call from RPM to hop in their trophy truck spec truck, and I was on cloud 9, just kind of like, are you serious? Like, I'm gonna get this opportunity of a lifetime right now. Like, ask me 3-5 years ago, I would have never thought I'd been in these shoes.
That is super cool, though. And so there's a couple things that I think of when stuff like that happens, and you had kind of brought it up a little while ago, is when you put yourself in the position like what she did for the pageants and all these different things, and you're showing people what you can achieve in different disciplines. That's why they called her, because they saw a really good human being that they know is never ever gonna she's gonna flip the switch right when she gets in the truck.
Yeah, give it 100. Yep.
Yeah. Once you put your mind to something, and it's really no going back. If I don't have my mind up on something, though, it's kind of like, I'm not quite there yet. The moment that I'm like, this is what I'm doing, well, it's gonna happen one way or another. I will never give up until it does. And it's kind of like, if I'm out there racing and my arm falls off, it's dragging behind me because I'm still gonna finish, kind of thing. It's kind of nice.
Watch out! Here comes Sarah. So one cool thing is both of our sisters are named Sarah as well.
Isn't that crazy?
My sister has an H.
With an H or without an H?
My sister has an H. She doesn't have an H.
Yeah, without an H.
So we got that in common. But okay, so obviously you're going to go 100%. But when you get the opportunity even if you get the opportunity to race a Terex in Africa or go on a side-by-side in the Lucas short course track, you're kind of going into the unknown. Like, you know how to race and stuff, but you still have a lot of stuff that you don't know how to do. When you got that call from RPM, were you just like, oh shit, like I better study, like I better figure this out before I get in the seat? Or what was the thought?
Oh yeah. Once I got that phone call, I was like full bore, like everything I can educate myself on. What can I do to get the most experience? How early can I get down there to pre-run? Like I guess we raced in the States first. So I was trying everything possible to, learn. But it was definitely like full school mode, trying to figure it out. And then the biggest thing for me was transferring to the truck was learning two-wheel drive. But not only that, but everything comes up so fast and you can't stop as fast because you have a very heavy machine you're stopping. And then on top of that, you don't want to be hitting sidewalls and getting flats. Obviously, that's why we run BFGs. They're the best in the trucks. And if you're not on a BFG, then you're going to be behind the game already. And that's kind of how my relationship
if you're not first, you're not last. If you're not on BFG, you're not winning.
If you're not first, you're last. Yeah.
Pretty much, like, if you're not on BFGs in the truck, it's very hard to be competitive, and it's a real thing. And that is, when you stand by the product, like we were talking about earlier, like I totally believe in my BFGs and I'm so stoked to be a part of their family on top of that. So it's really cool, but that's kind of what opened up my horizons to that. And I had opportunities with other companies, but I really wanted to be with them because I just, I believed in them that much. But yeah, it was tough to get used to the trucks and what speed and desert racing on top of that, because you could go too fast and you start blowing corners and you start making mistakes and breaking stuff, or you're going too slow because you're being too cautious. You're like, man, what's the fine line here? Like, what is the speed?
Well, especially for a motocross racer that's just pinned.
I think that's the coolest thing about all of it, is that trying to figure that out, that as a racer, you're always trying to do that. What's that razor edge that you can get to and know that feeling of you're still in control, you can go a little faster, you can't go a little faster. I think that's the coolest part of that new class or that new vehicle.
Yeah, thinking about it gets you excited.
It does. It's so awesome. So cool. Because I can picture you blowing that corner, like you said. You're like, okay, just a teeny bit less. And then you're like, oh, I got this. That's the coolest feeling. Yep. It really is.
Yep. Or you're by yourself for so long and you're like, am I going like fast enough? Or like, then you're not getting past or something. And you're like, or you get past and you're like, oh, I'm going too slow.
Right.
Like, it's not like a first to the finish necessarily. Like, they're the fastest, wins in off-road racing. It's first to finish. You first can win.
Right.
And so that's one thing I had to instill in me. And, I struggled the first year in it, trying to figure out that pace. And then after that, it just clicked. And then I had such confidence in knowing that whenever I hop in that truck, that I can find that pace.
Yeah,
and
that's
know what
awesome.
it takes to win,
Mm-hmm. We had Jeff Angel come in and said, evening, boys. We also had, do you know who Joe Whining is? He's the lead mechanic for Jesse Jones' trophy truck, or he's worked with Bryce Menzies and Tony Price and stuff.
No, I love Joe.
Yeah.
Yes,
so
he's awesome.
We grew up with Joe.
Big Joe.
So, we call him Big Joe because he's little. But he chimed in also. He actually lives just right near where we grew up and stuff. So we've known Joe his whole life. He said, boys, you might get a good story about racing, soloing the Baja 1000.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's This last year when we won the championship, it was my first time winning a championship in a truck, in the trophy truck spec class and score, and we soloed every single mile, or I did, in the driver's seat, and it was the biggest feat so far in my life. I would have to say I was in the truck for 19 and a half hours.
I was just trying to figure that out. 1,000 miles, 19 hours. Holy moly.
19 and a half or 18 and a half hours. I don't remember at this point anymore, but yeah, it was wild. But I had the championship on the line, so I went into that winning in points, and everyone kind of thought I was committing championship suicide by doing that, but I wanted to be 100% responsible for that championship. If something happened, I wanted it to happen to me. And I knew I could do it, because if I got out of the truck, I don't relax. I don't sleep. And so I would just be bugging everyone, kind of like, where's it at? What is it doing?
Plus, all those haters aren't Sara Price. So, that's a really cool. Do you have any like little things that happened during the race that scared you because you're like, oh crap, now here goes?
Yeah. At the very beginning, so I started first, and I was in the points championship with AJ Jones was battling with me, as well as Charles Dorrance. And so I knew that I didn't need to beat AJ. I knew I needed to come in second behind him if he was going to be winning. And then I knew that Charles I had to beat. And so, but at the very beginning, like the 1000 is a very long race. Like you can get hot-headed. We had a target on our back. A lot of people want to pass this as fast as they can. That's where, we come up with a plan, and we try to keep our cool very early on. And so like when they came up behind me, I chilled at the first 100 miles. I let them pass me, and I just stayed on their dust, kind of just pacing them. Well, then when it was time to kind of ramp up, we started racing. I passed Charles, and we were going over Mike's Sky Ranch, and I had hit a rock I didn't see on my front right, and I hit it really hard. And I was like, oh no, I just tore off the whole front right corner, and I just ruined this whole thing. Early on in the race too, to me. And we ended up just getting a flat, and then it was so muddy that like you're hitting puddles that year. Like this is when they delayed it because we had so much rain. I couldn't see anything. Like I'm not even kidding you. Like one time I hit a puddle, and that truck's completely sideways, and I'm like, I have no clue what way is even straight right now. And I like flipped my visor up because that's covered in mud. So I was like, well, at least my eyes will clean themselves. And so I'm just trying to keep the truck straight and basically ponds most of the race.
I think that's what a lot of people don't realize about desert racing is there's so many things. Well, we were talking about it before. Just in life, stuff can pop up right in front of you, and then things will happen, right? But in desert racing, like that stuff is so common. Like you never ever know what the next 10 feet is going to give you.
No, and that's the coolest thing about especially Baja is like, and I love that because I love to adapt, and I love to learn how to adapt fast and figure out issues. So yeah, when stuff comes up fast on you in Mexico, you got to think fast because it's never going to be a perfect race. That's for sure.
So how is it driving one of those trophy trucks then? Like, well, you drove the spec truck too. What was it like getting in that? You said to adapt to it, obviously you had to, notice the weight and all the differences, right? But for our audience that's never driven a race truck, even a short course truck or anything, maybe you could describe it a little bit for them.
Yeah, so if you come from razors or anything like that, a quad dirt bike, they're very light machines. They have a lot of power most of the time, so they get up and go really fast, and they also stop really fast. You also can get yourself into trouble really fast. But the one thing with the truck is you can get into trouble really fast, but you can have the ability to not be able to save it if you get into it too fast, because it's just this big, heavy machine, basically, and in the spec truck, we don't have power on our side, so we have to be even smarter, I almost want to say, because I don't have power to get us out of situations. Mm-hmm. We can get stuck easy, and I don't have power to help us in any sort of way, really. In the trophy truck, it's absolutely insane. Like, I was, like, jumping whoops at the Mint 400. I was, like, on cloud 9, like... I'm not even kidding you. Like, when I first ever got to get into one of those trucks and I'm going 80 to a 90 over a whoop section, I radioed into the pit, and I was like, I just want to let you guys know this is the coolest thing I've ever done in my entire life.
Thanks.
I can totally see her too.
pumped.
She's getting all moto, like doubling stuff and all rhythms.
So
like,
awesome.
Yeah.
that is super cool. That makes me happy to hear that because, especially because everybody asks like, oh, what is it? Driving a race side by side, or Casey Curry let me drive one of his pro lights one day, and they always ask me about those kinds of things. And just to hear that about you is so phenomenal to be able to picture that sitting in a big truck like that.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. The big trucks, everything happens a little bit slower, I guess you would say. You have to be way more ahead of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So when we pre-run in our Polaris RZR and our Turbo S's, but then I have to translate that into what I'm going to be looking at in the truck. And so sometimes even when we're pre-running, we'll say, okay, for RZR check up, for truck don't check up, or I put distances before the corners because I have to be so much further ahead of my braking points to be able to stop that truck. And it's funny because when I get back into a RZR and I race it like King of the Hammers, we're prepared for that early call out for a corner. And then we're like, wait.
You're way too early.
Okay. Up there, you can turn left,
Nice.
That is cool. So
Jeff Angel says straight up Ricky Bobby.
Yeah, not first, you're last.
Love Ricky Bobby.
First thing I think of when you drive those trophy trucks is it's obviously expensive, but all of the effort that you've put in your whole life has given you the opportunity to do this. And I think that teaches a really, really, and this is going to lead into our next subject, but I think it teaches a really, really good lesson for people to understand. And it doesn't matter whether you want to be the head of a software company or if you want to own your own, dent repair, because Jeff Angel just called in, anything. The harder you work at it, the more positive you stay about the certain things that you're doing, and the more connections that you make, the easier success rate you'll have in anything that you do. And she's proof in the pudding right here. She got a call from one of the awesomest teams to be able to do this, and she's taking complete advantage of it. She flipped her switch to do it.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a big thing. Like, that's one thing I tell everyone. I'm not even kid you right now, but my media guy, we've got really close, and my mechanic, we call ourselves the Goon Squad. It's an inside joke because Goon Squad is Goon Squad, but yeah, and they full on quit their jobs. And I said, you know what? I'm not the bad influence here. I'm trying not to be, but if you don't like your job and it's not what you actually love to do, then I promise you, if you put your faith and you work towards something that is going to make you happy and what you want to do, it's going to come your way. Like, it's crazy when one door closes and you put that out there in the world. If you want to achieve something, it comes full circle around and something happens to help you. It's like this weird, crazy thing that just, I don't know. It's something about life, but yeah, if you put something out there, if you really want something, you'll get your chance some way or another.
I could not agree with that statement more. There's a lot of stuff that's going on in our personal lives and families' personal lives, and everybody on the planet right now, for a fact, is going through stuff that they need to change. So if you listen to the words that just came out of Sarah's mouth and use that positivity and hard work and drive and determination, whether you have to change your job or anything that comes up that you're given, you can definitely do it, just like all the people that are around her are achieving their goals. So I think that's fantastic words. And that's what I was saying about our next subject is you also do a little bit of motivational stuff. You're a positive influence for women. You're a positive influence for children, even men. But, what is some of the stuff that you take as to heart when you do that stuff? Because giving back is, really, really fulfilling, right?
Yeah, definitely. I have a girl that now works for my business, and she was, honestly, I would have to say, one of my biggest fans of motocross growing up, and she was so afraid to meet me the first time at the dirt bike track, and so her dad had to come up and get me. She's like my little sister now, but I see a lot of things that she struggles with that I've been through, and it's sometimes those hard conversations, one thing, sometimes motocross isn't going to probably be your future. You can't depend on that as your future either. If you want to do it forever, well, let's figure out something else so you can do that forever, and kind of, give her a little bit more of an insight to not make it seem so negative in your life in that moment, because I've been there when I feel like my whole world's crashing, when I can't do what I exactly want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think it's important to never turn people down to, want to be better or want to achieve something. I think as long as you can put out good, you're going to get good. I believe in karma very, very much. And, I think it's awesome that, I'm chasing my dreams, but then that inspires so many others to be able to chase theirs. And, like at the Minute 400 finished or at the finish line, and I have 3 little girls that run up to me with their mom, and they're racing 570 razors because they see me race and they didn't think that they could do it until they saw a girl out there doing it with the guys.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Yeah, it's so awesome. And even at that time, my videographer, he just quit his job from Colorado, moved here to California to take this risk. And he's just like, dude, that made it all so worth it. Like, how was that? Like, feeling to hear those little girls. And I was like, dude, that's exactly what it's all about. Like, that's exactly it.
Yeah, and you don't take that stuff lightly, obviously. This is why your passion gives you to go back to that helmet throwing, like we said.
Yep.
You're basically in the limelight, whether you realize it or not. And we'll say it like we do in my trade all the time. 100 attaboys are erased by one F up.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
You did the right thing, obviously. I mean, I'm sure you're always acting that way. I think we can tell by just talking to you right now. But imagine what happens so many times when, you blew the tire or whatever, and you don't quite finish where you did, like you said, and it's sometimes everyone has their bad day, and you never know who's watching. So
yeah,
to that positive side, obviously you were super pumped and moved by those girls all pumped for you, but sometimes you just make sure you're pumped for them, I guess is what I'm saying, right? I mean, it's obviously honest and it's real, but sometimes you're worn out and it's a job for you, and you're still making sure that you're doing the right thing.
It looks like it's getting a little dark outside where you're at, so we'll try to hurry up.
I just turned my brightness up, so you got it.
You good? Okay, cool. So we have 2 things, 2 last questions, and then we're going to go into our rapid-fire Q&A real quick. So we got, what does the future hold for you then? Are you going to continue racing the trophy trucks, and what's going on for you?
Well, I'm in the talks right now. Some very exciting things, some big goals of mine that I might have the potential to get to do finally. So hopefully that stuff goes through. I don't know when I'll know more, but my goal is to race a trophy truck in Baja. I'd love to, be a contender for the championship in one of those one day. And then also get to Dakar. That is also my two main goals, I guess you would say. Other than that, just building my business, being the best stunt woman I can, and staying busy with that. Just keep living the life and loving it, and every opportunity that comes my way.
Yeah, we can tell you're going to be positive for it, especially if something negative comes your way. You're going to still push through it and get to reach your goals. Well, and that's cool too. If you do want to do Dakar, then you have a good person that can help you with some of that stuff now too. So. The last question is, how can our audience connect with you? But I think the best way is probably whether they can or can't send you a message on Instagram, but go check out some of the stuff she posts. It's Sara Price MX on Instagram, and it's SARA without the H. And you can go check out some of the stuff that she does. She does a fantastic job posting all of the fun stuff that she's involved with. I love following her. So.
Did you see what Lucretia said?
No, you can go through it and pick out the stuff. So anything else that you want to say before we get in the rapid fire Q&A, Sara?
No, I just say thank you for having me, and I think it's really cool what you guys are doing. You're an inspirational story yourself, George, so it's pretty cool to get to talk to you.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you very much for the kind words. I am going to, one of these days, we're going to have to go on a side-by-side ride or eat some tacos or something. Even if Ricky's not going to freaking cook them for us, we'll figure it out, right?
So Lucretia says, you're definitely an inspiration. There isn't another woman that I would say deserves to be in a trophy truck more than her. She can drive anything and drives it well. I'm super excited to see what the future holds for her.
We didn't even get into the stunt driving stuff, but go check out her Instagram. You can see some of the stunt stuff that she's done. It's pretty cool. And plus, I love when you have to get dressed up and do all the makeup and stuff. That's so awesome.
Oh, I know. It's like anytime I get a job, I swear they never use like my own hair anymore. And so like I started taking pictures, and I wish I did earlier. But all these wigs, and I even have a collection of them because they just give me them sometimes. I'm like, what am I gonna do with these things?
You're gonna enter another pageant, right?
I know. I have all these wigs dialed.
All right, Case, you want to go first? This is a rapid fire Q&A. So go for it, Case.
Okay, ready? Hey, this is a new one. All right.
Yeah.
Good. iRacing or real racing? Come on. I still like it.
Oh, real
It's a
racing,
good
of course.
question.
I don't even iRace. I don't have one of those things yet. I need to get one.
I know we were talking about that today.
It is kind of cool.
Well, okay, so I think you might want to pick another rider, but we got Barsha or Webb.
You know what's funny? I know both of them like from when I was way young, and it's so funny because I got connected with the moto world again because of one of my best friends. Her husband races Supercross, and I'm like, wait, Cooper Webb? Like,
Yeah,
he used
right.
to be like that kid on a 65,
Yeah.
and he's winning Supercross? I was like, oh, crazy. Yeah, I don't know between the two. That's a hard one. I can't pick.
Okay, Roxon or Tomac then.
Tomac, Cowie.
Okay, you're going Cowie. All right, Case, what's the next one?
Favorite food?
Ooh, favorite food. Man, that's a hard one. A steak and potato kind of girl.
Ooh, that does sound pretty
Sounds
good. I just got
fantastic.
some potatoes that I'm going to cook up, too, for tonight. Little Smokies or
There you
pizza
go.
rolls?
I don't know what Little Smokies is, but
They're
that
those
sounds
little
like
wiener
more of a
things.
barbecue thing.
You gotta
There's-
have everybody.
Oh, those. Definitely those.
Everybody that hasn't tried
like
those
those.
has to.
Dude, they're so
You
good.
have to. They're so good. Favorite soda?
Dr. Pepper.
Nice.
Yes!
That was in my mind. That's like 3 now, right?
Perfect. Uggs or Crocs?
What?
Uggs or Crocs?
It's gonna be Uggs.
Oh, for sure, Uggs.
Yeah, but Danielle tried to get me on the Ugg train, too. I was like, no, I don't know if I can do it. She's like, yeah, it's super comfy. Like, you got to
I
get
feel
them.
like Arizona doesn't do that.
Well,
California
no,
does that.
I feel like some do. Like, and both Mike and Danielle Gardner were like, dude, George, you got to do it. Like, we're going to get you a pair when you come to the dunes next time. I'm like,
Yeah.
So we kind of touched
Yo,
on.
they're the best.
We kind of touched on this one. Sorry. Most memorable race.
Baja 1000.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Favorite flavor of ice cream?
Mint chip.
Oh, that's a good one.
Ski or
Or
snowboard?
bubblegum.
Bubblegum ice cream.
Snowboard, but I suck at anything that's board related. I'm not going to lie.
No,
Last time I snowboarded, I knocked myself out.
no skateboarding for you? What about scooter?
Yeah, I
It's
suck
got
at
handlebars.
skateboard.
That's true.
No, probably not. I don't know what it is, but I suck at them.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Oh, that was my question. Huh? Sorry, I missed it. Netflix or YouTube?
Netflix.
Burrito or taco? I think we already know.
I love tacos.
All right.
Dude, right there with you. Yeah, we can be teammates now. Supercross or
Yeah.
motocross?
Supercross.
You're going Supercross, huh? I kind of thought you might pick motocross on this one with the whole desert racing thing. Like, I
Right?
thought you might go there.
Yeah, but she said she did. She was super pumped on the Terex.
Oh, they
The Terracross.
Terracross,
There
yeah.
you go. Sorry. So
Sorry.
what?
Yeah,
so-
Supercross is just more of like timing stuff. It's I don't know. I just love that feeling. Where motocross, I just think about dying. Like you're just so dead after a 20 or 30-minute moto.
That's so funny. It's so
not
true.
trying to get hurt anymore, going wide open.
It's so true.
Yeah.
All right. So our final
second
question.
to last question.
Supercross.
We got one on the next page.
Oh, my bad. Okay. What other form of racing would you like to try? It's an open. It's a blank canvas. George wants somebody to say.
Rally.
He wants somebody to say monster truck, but I
really do.
I like that rally attitude.
Nah, I want to do like actual rally car. Yeah, stage rally like that, or like drifting. I'd love to try like I just did a BMW M2 competition, and I've been drifting it everywhere, and like I'm so lucky I haven't been pulled over yet, but it's like I think I could. I really like the drifting thing.
So how do you feel about, like, I've seen so many videos where the guys are in their 4x4 rally cars or whatever, like in their Peugeots or whatever they are, and they're going like, who knows, 100 miles an hour, and they're backed into the corner like fully backwards for a good, I don't know, eighth of a mile. It seems like they're like
going
backwards, and then they put like. Do you think you could actually throw the car around like that? Like, I don't even know how I'd feel.
I don't know either, but I would like to try it.
Dude, that'd be so cool. All right, so the most important question of the night. Well, actually, second most important question.
How did I forget this one?
Chips and guacamole or French fries and ketchup?
Chips and guacamole.
Boom. We did just become best friends. Good job.
It's about a 95%er. I think.
Yeah, we'll go with you. You passed all the questions. Awesome job. Okay. Well, thank you very much for taking the time. It's getting pretty dark over there, and I know you want to get inside and eat dinner with Ricky. So thank you very, very much for taking the time with us, Sarah. You're an amazing person, and you've got an amazing story, and we wish you all the best in the future.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was awesome talking with you guys. And yeah, anyone, you're welcome to message me, and you can find me on everything, Sara Price MX. So yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, tell Ricky thanks for waiting for dinner. We'll see you guys later, okay?
All right, bye, you guys.
We'll see you. Thank you very much, Sara Price. That was bye. That was very, very cool to see. Like, I love the positive atmosphere that she provides, you know, like just having a smile on your face all the time. And you know why she has that smile? Because she works her ass off and she achieves her goals. Because you can tell that if she didn't, she'd be pissed.
Setting those goals for sure. There's no doubt about it.
She's making the world a better place just by being her. So thank you very much, Sara Price, for doing that. You've changed the way that I'm going to do. Every time we freaking have somebody on the show, I want to be better tomorrow.
Right.
So what do you think about her wanting to race a rally car? You think that's going to come to fruition? I mean, she's doing all this other stuff.
I'll bet it does. And it wasn't that long ago that whatever that race was she was talking about, she learned the book.
Oh, yeah.
So
and
that's
the
a little
navigation on those books?
So that's obviously a little bit different than what would be going on there. But at the same token, it is like a hand or a papered whatever where somebody's navigating. So I feel like it's kind of already up her alley. It's probably setting up nicely for that opportunity would be my guess.
Just like, breaking the surface, learning all these traits and stuff.
And then being out in the middle of the Sahara Desert, I mean, that's kind of pretty much out of your element, so to speak. So when all that rally stuff is like, out in different areas.
So remote.
Yeah, it seems like it is. I don't follow it too much. But
I know that in the Dakar, like Mitch Guthrie and some of those guys, they had to spend the night out there because they couldn't get a tow back in.
Right.
So you're like way, way out there. Oh, Jeff just said, I'm bringing Little Smokies this weekend for sure then.
Yeah.
Sweet. Thanks, Jeff. So it looks like I'm going to be eating good this weekend.
Nice. That's funny.
Well, so thank you very much, Sara Price. Thank you all you guys for tuning in. You guys made this show great. It looks like our numbers, just by watching them, have significantly increased. So maybe I'm doing a good job promoting it. Maybe everybody else is doing a good job coming in and talking to us.
Yep, great guests for sure.
We have awesome guests. We just have, this show is just gaining momentum, man.
Yeah, and everybody chiming in and having fun with us. That's
I think it's really important, and I love that everybody is doing that. Why I thank the sponsors. Will you read that one? So I want to thank everybody for chiming in, first of all. You guys are the most important people, the audience, everybody. You guys, we love you so much. But thank you very much to the guys at Shock Therapy. You can use the code DIRTLIFE at the Shock Therapy website. Get a big old fat discount. You can call over there and talk to the guys and use the code DIRTLIFE and get a discount as well. Do the IQS system just like Jeff Angel did. We're going to go do some videos for that this weekend. Thank you very much to the guys at Zollinger Racing Products, ZollingerRacingProducts.com. Use the code DIRTLIFE. The Rugged Radios guys, thank you very much for participating in this giveaway. You could use the code DIRTLIFE over there if you didn't win. If you're one of those people who won and you didn't follow all the directions, we're sorry, but rules are rules, like Alfonso said. And so thank you very much to those guys for doing that stuff. We're going to have more giveaways in the future here. So just pay attention to our social media, man. Maybe you didn't win this time, and you'll get lucky next time. Thank you very much to the guys at Solderweld. Use the code DIRTLIFE over at solderweld.com to get the off-road repair kit or the trophy truck repair kit, but it's not just for trophy trucks, so you can get it from them. And thank you very much to Ryan at KMC Wheels. They're making the best products, man. We really, really love Ryan, and we really love their products. So
and his candle.
Yes, that thing is like mind-blowing.
I can't even say enough about it.
Like, we could just seriously just put them in all the vehicles and stuff. What was that last comment?
So it's kind of choppy, but I think what I'm reading between the lines here, it was Christian Bremer. I know you friend him. Here's what I think he's saying. I think he's saying,
he knows
come to my
from the
shop. Yeah, come to my shop in Mexico one time. It sounds
okay.
like.
Well, Christian, you can message us and we can figure all that stuff out. So next week we have.
And Eric, you're on the show. Thanks, buddy. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, thank you very much, Eric Lundvall, for joining, dude. You're awesome. We will have Adam Drake's show coming up, so Eric, you can pay attention to that in a month or two.
Yep, that was a nice one.
So excuse me. What was I going to say? Oh, next week's guest, we have some Arizona locals. We're going to have Ethan Ebert and Luke Knupp coming on the show. Both of them are, well, now they're iRacing professionals. They got like all these sponsors coming into iRacing and stuff like that.
So crazy.
But they both race mod carts and both do a very good job. They're both in really awesome families. We're going to have both their fathers come in. We're going to have some pizza. We're just going to have a good time. So it'll be kind of nice for us to still do our social distancing, but still be close and have a good time. I think it's going to be neat to talk to those guys. They're inspiration in themselves because they're very young and they have a lot of energy. So it'll be cool to talk with those kids. And thank you very much. Like I said, all the sponsors, and thank you everybody for joining in. We love you. Well, unless you got, I wanted to throw a shout out to your dad too. How's he doing? Good?
Yeah, he was out on the tractor doing some work this.
Dude, no way.
Week. Yeah, it was awesome. I saw the picture and I was like, "Oh man,
dude, that's super cool."
Thank you, God.
Yeah. So shout out to Jim Peck. We miss you, bud. One of these days I'll have to come over for a roast and hang out. So
meat pie.
Huh?
Meat pie.
Oh yeah, that's
Mom's
what it was,
meat pie. Yeah, it's coming.
God, I want that.
It's so good.
So, especially during quarantine, right?
Yes.
So,
even better.
The taco shop that's down the street, they don't have shredded beef anymore. They screwed us.
Really?
Yeah, so I don't know what the deal is. They can't get shredded beef. They said it's like not available.
All this stuff's pretty good though.
Yeah, that's true. Hot dogs. So, all right. Well, thank you guys very much. We really appreciate it. We won't bore you guys with taco talk anymore. We love you.
Thanks, everybody.
Good night.
Night.
Thanks for listening to The Dirt Life Show.